guys, it's Sam, and this is my end of the year TBR. This video was voted on by the Bibliothecary community. Every month the community over there gets to vote in a poll for a video topic that I will do that month. So if you're interested in contributing to my content in that way, check out the Bibliothecary, it's linked on the screen. Now this is not all of the books I'm reading before the end of the year. Obviously I'm a mood reader, I can't do that. But I have some goals that I kind of set for myself at the beginning of the year, and some of these books are books that I have to read to kind of achieve some of those before the end of the year. If it doesn't happen, I'll be fine, but I would like to have it happen. This also does not include the rest of the books for my spooky season TBR, which is still happening right now, and the books I'm gonna read for nonfiction November, which I'll talk about later this month. So I really only have like December to read most of these. And I don't know if that's gonna happen because December is obviously very busy. Seasonal reads might happen because I might just be like, hey, I wanna read some like Christmas romances or whatever. Although I don't tend to wanna read those for like the full month, but I'm giving myself grace that if I don't get to these, it's fine, but there's a few that I want to get to, and a lot of this comes from my videos at the beginning of the year when I was all optimistic. And I did get a lot of the things that I said in those videos read. I want to preface it with that. But I talked about in particular series I wanted to start and series I wanted to finish. A lot of those I have gotten done. These are the last stragglers, so that's why I'm making these a point, again, outside of the spooky season stuff and the November, nonfiction November stuff. Wish me luck. So first is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Martin. This is one of those books that I need to try and then get rid of if I don't like, which I'm very much thinking I won't. But this is going to be involved in a project that I do plan to do before the end of the year, she says. I'm hoping it's something that I'll only take about a week, but I'm basically, I will sprinkle this right now. I'm gonna try out a bunch of books, see if I like them, DNF the ones I don't, basically. And this is on that stack. And then everything that I don't like is going away. So many of you know, it was popular a few years ago now. This is a first book in a YA trilogy. I have the full trilogy because the publisher sent it all to me. Puts a lot of pressure on me and a bunch of space on my TBR shelf. But it's a romance, an enemies to lovers romance between a witch and a witch hunter. So it's like a historical fantasy kind of thing. So I don't know. I remain hopeful that this will be my kind of trash, but these days, the only thing that's sort of my kind of trash, and I wouldn't even call it trash, is like urban fantasy, and that's really scratching that itch, so I don't know if I need this. And I haven't remained hopeful, and that's why I haven't read it, even though I've had it on my shelf for like 2 or 3 years, maybe. Maybe just 2. Maybe just 1. I don't know. It needs to be done by the end of this year, though. I don't want it to linger anymore. Then we have a book that I need to read to fulfill one of the last prompts on my yearly reading challenge. This year I started with the Bibliothecary doing a yearly like reading challenge bingo kind of thing for the year, and many of the people over there have done like 2 bingo cards full, working on a 3rd. Love that, but I have a few other prompts to finish there. So if you're interested in that, to see how much you fulfilled this year or to get with it for next year, because I'll be doing another one next year, check out the Bibliothecary. I already mentioned it earlier. So the book I need to read for a translated book, which was in like kind of hard mode, is Winter's Promise. I did not write the author down for this book because I don't own it. Oh, it's technically A Winter's Promise. This is by Christelle Dabos. I believe this was translated from French. It does not say here what it was translated from. Oh, yes, here we go. French. So I know very little about this besides the fact that people, like, it was very popular over in France. It has a bit of a romance subplot, but like not really. It's YA, yes, very kind of like, I don't know if it's classic French sort of like YA. It was pretty popular over on TikTok, possibly on BookTube for a while, and it is a finished series. It's actually kind of hard, I know I made this prompt myself, but it's actually kind of hard to find translated fiction that I really want to read because a lot I've found of translated fiction is in like the literary fiction category, and your girl doesn't read a lot of literary fiction. There also tends to be a little bit of like translated horror these days. And I also like Tender as the Flesh, I'm pretty sure was translated, but no, I'm not gonna read that. So it's kind of hard to find like a translated fantasy that I wanted to read. This might work for me. And I will possibly rethink the translated category, but I think it's good to kind of like get out of your comfort zone. So we'll see, but this is when I left for the end. I have almost every prompt done like first half of the year, and then there was a few stragglers. Then I would like to read at least 2 volumes of Monsters because I own these 2, okay? Volumes 4 and 5? 5 and 6. 4 and 5. And I don't own 6, but I would like one of my goals for the end of the year was to read have all 6 read of the one. I think there's like 7 out now possibly, but I wanted to read 6. I don't know if I'll get to it because this I wanted to read during spooky season, but October's already flying by. It's already almost time for me to leave. When you're watching this, it'll be like a few days before I'm leaving for Europe. And I'm not taking my graphic novels with me. I'm not packing any physical books. So I'm stressed. But if I finish a book like 1 or 2 days before I leave, I might then read these because I wanted to read these for spooky season. I always forget about my graphic novels. I've talked about this series a lot. This is one of my favorite graphic novel series. It features Japanese like folklore, mythology kind of stuff, and it's very like spooky, lots of body horror, eldritch beings type stuff. It's very cool. And this is one I'll for sure do because this is the Bibliothecary's last quarter of the year book club pick. Lots of talk about the Bibliothecary today. It just happens to be a part of like the theme of this video. But every quarter we read a book together, we talk about it on Discord, and then we have a live show at the end of the quarter. And for this quarter, it's going to be The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. I'm pretty confident I'm gonna love this. It's actually a crime that I haven't read this yet. I just didn't own it until fairly recently. But this is the first book in an adult fantasy trilogy, I think it's gonna be, and it's sapphic, and it's gonna be great. Tasha Suri is an auto buy, an auto read, an auto anything for me. So I'm very excited for this one. I'll probably be reading it during December when there will be a tome topple. I'm not telling you dates yet because I don't know yet, but there will. Remain calm. Then I want to finish Binti by Nadia Okorafor. I thought when I made the video at the beginning of the year that I was gonna finish Binti like immediately. I have technically read the first, second, and part of the third novella. However, I only really remember the first novella. I listened to them all on audio. I find the audiobook narrator excellent, but also her voice is so soothing that I kind of just like drift off. Like, not even fall asleep, I just like, I lose focus because I find her voice like so nice. So, I don't remember a lot of what happened in the second book, and I was I was lost in the third. And these are novellas. So this is a novella bind up that I actually found at my local like little free library. So what I'm gonna do is actually immersion read the last two. So listen, because I love the voice of the narrator, and like she's like has the accent of this character who I think like it's science fiction, so I'm not sure where exactly she's supposed to be from, but she is like, I believe Nadia Okorafor usually does East African, I think. So like that sort of accent, which I just really love. So I want to hear it spoken to me, but also I think I need to read it to like stay kind of focused. And so I think, since again they're novellas, it's going to be pretty easy to get through those hopefully before the end of the year. Then these are my stretch goals. One of these for sure was extra ambitious. And I always forget that I know, and it always looms over me, but the end of the year goes so fast. The last half of the year in general goes so fast because by September I'm already reading spooky books, and like it just limits, and then this year with the travel, limits a lot of my reading, okay? So I should have known to not put a whole series on my like list that I was gonna like finish this year, but I did because I was optimistic. I probably could have prioritized this, but I didn't because I didn't love the first book. But I need to read the second book in the Inheritance trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, which is I believe The Broken Kingdoms. Yes, The Broken Kingdoms. So this is a adult fantasy series. It was her debut series, and each of these are companions, and they take place during like different times, following slightly different characters. So the next book I could like more than the first book. I've talked about the first book at length. It was one of our House Salt Book Club live show discussions back in, I think it was like August maybe. So there's time here. So I've talked about this a lot, but I said I was like, I'm gonna read this whole series. I think I can, and technically I could have, but problem is this is book 2, right? And then this is book 3. And I'm like, that is very large. I don't think I'm gonna get that finished, but can I read book 2? I believe that I can. So another tome topple potentially. I don't know if I'll get through 2 books in tome topple. That's very ambitious of me, but maybe to get that done by the end of the year. And the last one, which could be a tome topple as well if I get one of those read not during tome topple. It's Malice by John Gwynne. This is one that I tried to read. I said this in my video originally talking about wanting to read this. Either, I think it was 2020, maybe 2019. I tried to read it, couldn't really get into it. Got like 186 pages into it, and I could not tell you a single thing, not a single thing about any of this, about anything that happened, but I still really want to read it. So I just kind of did like a set down for now, just wasn't in the mood for it kind of thing, and I'm going to return to it, and if it doesn't grip me this time, it's getting DNF'd, and I'll just try his other series, his more new series. But a lot of people that I know, that I trust their opinions, have liked this and said that I would too. So I think I was just in a bad reading spot for it then. I would like to get this started before the end of the year. Will I? I don't know. So yeah, those are the books that I want to read before the end of the year. Not counting the other books I have to read before the end of the year because they are part of other TBRs. So yeah, wish me luck. This really all hinges on how much I get read while I'm on vacation, which the vacation's gonna be mostly vibes and we have a lot of downtime. So I don't know. and how good I feel like, how up to reading I feel like when I get back. And I give myself grace that I could read none of these and it would be fine. And then I'll have a lot to talk about next year with like things I want to read next year, which I'm already thinking about, already planning. I bought a planner today. It's middle of October. But yes, comment down below and let me know if there's any books that you are trying to get read before the end of the year. Thank you all for watching and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.